For this video, I'll be sharing my understanding about the history and development of meteorology. I'll be introducing the various events and men behind the development of meteorology. But before that, let me first define meteorology. It is an exact science that is relatively young, but measurements have been made through recorded history. It deals with the atmosphere and its phenomena. Simply, it focuses on weather processes and weather forecasting. In 340 BC, stuffs about the branch of science was based on Aristotle's Meteorology for about 2,000 years, though most of the data are inaccurate based on modern information about meteorology. During these times, there are attempts of forecasting the weather using the techniques of Ptolemy based on astrological events. In 400 BC, rainfall was first measured in India. It paved the way to the invention of instruments that measures atmospheric conditions. For instance, the invention of wind vane by Leonardo da Vinci in 1500. Galileo Galilei's thermometer in 1593, and Torricelli's mercury barometer in 1643. Before 1600s, they predicted the weather based on recurring patterns. There was still no explanation about why these patterns occur. And by 1600s, the time that the great Isaac Newton developed his three laws of motion, namely the laws of inertia, law of acceleration, and law of action and reaction. This time also was the beginning of mathematical description of meteorology. There was also Edmund Halley's account of the trade winds and monsoons in 1686. During 1800s, determination of forces that changes weather began. Also, the development of theories and clarifications such as William Ferrel's theory of the general circulation of the atmosphere in 1856. By 1900s, vertical structure of the atmosphere was understood, given importance, and measured. Vertical structure of the atmosphere is the interaction of pressure, temperature, density, and chemical composition in the four major layers of the atmosphere, namely troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and thermosphere. As the development continues, in 1944, the first quantitative map identifying the jet stream was developed. Jet stream is a fast-flowing in meandering shape, narrow band of westerly winds located near the tropopause. Meteorologists used radars for weather experiments in the mid-1940s and 1950s. By 1955, the first operational weather prediction model was run on BM computer. TIROS-1 was the first weather satellite launched into space in 1960, while the first geostationary operational environmental satellite was launched in 1974. And by early 1990s, the first next-generation radar, the WSR-88D, was stationed at the NWS Weather Forecast Office. Following this decade, in 2000, there was the creation of Weather Research and Forecasting Numerical Prediction Model to join forecast and research communities. This decade, meteorologists utilized dual Doppler radars, and next-generation geostationary operational environmental satellites. They also used other weather instruments. In 21st century, researchers continues to learn and study more about the great challenges of humankind, the ways on dealing global climate and meteorological droughts. That's all for this video. Again, this is Dessa leaving you the quote of Anthony J. D'Angelo. Whether you go, no matter what the weather, always bring your own sunshine. See you in the next video. Sayonara!